the podcast.
Good Monday morning, everyone. If you're in South Texas, like I'm in Bryan, I know Russell and Fern are in Houston. It's been, kind of rainy and dreary. So, hopefully this brightens up your Monday because it's just nasty outside. But you guys are listening to Author Talk with me, Amy, and you guys know my lovely co-host, Fern, Russell, and our guest today is Pat Daly. So everyone say, hey, how's everybody doing?
My day is great. I think this is beautiful weather. I was raised
but
in
you
desert.
think everything is beautiful, and I love that about you, but this is crappy weather. I mean, let's be real. It's all drizzly and like, you just don't want to go outside. You want to curl up with a good book, okay? Maybe Pat Daly's book. And just enjoy it if you don't have kids. If you don't have kids, then you should totally do this. If you have kids, then you can't do this till tonight. But that's the kind of weather that, that's the vibe I'm getting. Like, I made chicken soup last night for dinner because it was just icky yesterday. And
that is lazy.
It brings me comfort.
That's so lazy.
It's only lazy if you use it out of a can.
About how your weekend went. Fern, how was your weekend? Let's kick it to Fern.
So if you make like homemade chicken soup and you have to, take care of all those veggies and stuff.
It was Campbell's. I put money on it.
That is not true. Oh my gosh, Russell, that's not true. I actually homemade the broth and then I pressure cooked the chicken and shredded it. And then I put all the vegetables in it and then it had to stew so it could infuse with the flavor. And then I had to make rice. And I can't just make rice because I have rice and noodle lovers in my household. So I have to make both. Okay. It's a process, Russell. Campbell's in the can. Now that's just rude. Plain rude. I love you though, Russell. I love you. It's okay.
I just want to say my weekend was really boring actually, because I had to work on my anthologies for my Writers in the Schools placement. We're getting to the end of the year. So I've been teaching, little fourth graders, and we've been doing poetry and stories and stuff. And so I had them go in and pick their favorites to put in their book. And so I've been, basically cutting and pasting into their book, formatting it, fixing it, and adding punctuation, because apparently a lot of them don't seem to know that, you have to have periods.
Yeah, I've had that problem occasionally myself.
I just don't know.
Periods are kind of one of those willy-nilly things. It's okay.
No. No. It is really difficult.
Wow.
Some of them don't even put who said what. I'm just trying to figure out what this conversation is with no quotation marks. It has been highly interesting trying to figure out what is happening in this story because, there's no punctuation. None. It's just
I got to tell you, the fact that you're working on that with these fourth graders is a big freaking deal. Okay? They're going to remember this stuff. You don't know how this is going to affect which one. It's a big deal. So I know it's funny, but it's a big deal.
It is. I know. And, I have for this week, my class will be on, periods and, quotation marks and adding punctuation, properly punctuating your stories. Because we've actually been working on a final story and they've been typing it up. Last week they were typing it up. So I think this is the perfect moment to, share with them a piece of writing that has no punctuation in it and go through and say, let's look at, why is this not making any sense? Because, there's like no punctuation.
Are you going to read the whole thing to them really quick and never stop so they laugh as the way to introduce it?
Absolutely. I'll be like, and, do we even know who's talking? No, because nobody has told us who's talking because there's no quotation marks. It's so exhausting. I'm just going to be, yes.
You're not going to go James Joyce on them and read them Ulysses, are you?
No. Have you read that, Pat? It took me a whole year to read that. I would have to read it a little while every night, and then I'd have to look up in Wikipedia what I read to see what it meant. Because I couldn't figure it out.
I actually read it once in college, and then years later I went back because somebody had referred to it in a book, and I thought, God, maybe I need to give that another shot.
And then you read it and you said, no, I didn't need to.
Yeah. And then I did the whole Wikipedia thing, trying to figure out what was going on.
Right. I'm convinced that people that say that Joyce's book is the greatest novel ever written are only those people that haven't read it and just heard it, or they're professors and they're trying to up their own brand and they don't really understand it.
Or they're the same people that think Nomadland is a great movie.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you on that statement. I do. Yeah, for sure. Russell, what did you do this weekend?
I got ready. Okay, let me tell you what I'm doing this weekend, because that's what I was getting ready for. We're going to take our RV and do what it was really meant to do, which is park at wineries and so we're leaving Thursday and we're going to be parked at wineries until Monday.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm going to need Sandy to substitute for me Monday morning because I'll probably have a hangover.
I was going to ask you, so it's just going to be a big, drunken weekend, but hey, kudos to you. Are you letting people come with you? I'll join you. I'm coming.
Be at my apartment on Friday. I give you my word, I'll take you.
Beware your appointment on Friday?
Right. I give you my word as a lawyer, I'll take you.
Oh, Lord. Forget that.
But it's my wife's birthday, and that's what we're doing.
Nice. I love it. I love it. I can't wait. Pat, what did you do this weekend?
I actually mailed a copy of my book to a guy that follows my blog in India.
Oh, okay.
And so I autographed the book, sent it off to him, and it cost more to mail than the book costs.
Yeah, but that's okay because it's in India, and that's a righteous thing you're doing. And righteous place to send it.
Yeah.
I'm an India lover. I spent 3 weeks there. It was 3 greatest weeks of my traveling life.
Yeah. Josh is trying to get me there. So
I know you have to go though.
It's
like a thing. And we're going to go to one of the most beautiful parts. Josh is going to take you to it. Yes.
Yeah, I know. But I want to go see all the temples and stuff too. But I'm more, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. That's a conversation for another day. Eventually it's going to happen. Eventually I have to cave and I will go. So
it's not cave. It's an unbelievable part of your future life.
I know. I wish I had the outlook that you have on everything, Russell. I wish I did. It's just such
I know. As I told Sandy last week, it's just awesome to be me.
You are just awesome. It's true. It's just plumb awesome. Being so awesome that you are, can you tell everyone about our YouTube channel?
Yes. Please watch this. Go over the YouTube channel when this is over. Run through it real quick. Watch it over there so we get our views up. Pick, like, subscribe if you hadn't. And the reason we're asking you to do this is it changes the algorithm that YouTube runs all channels by, and it will offer our channel to more people that might be interested. So we would really appreciate it. You can help us a lot.
Yes, words to live by Russell Little. I love that. That's going to be my new segment for you. Words to live by from Russell. With that being said, Fern, I'm going to kick it to you, and we're going to start talking about Pat Daly's new book.
Well, Pat Daly is a debut author. This is his first book. So, Pat, how are you feeling knowing that, Saturday is D-Day?
Oh, I'm pretty jazzed. I'm really excited about it. I think after the party, I may feel a little post-coital. but for now, I'm approaching this with a furrowed brow.
Explain that, Pat, so they don't have bad aspersions on you. We were talking about this. This is weird, but we were talking about this. I had 3 new words. I have a whole little book of words I need to start using and descriptions. And Pat asked what they were, and I used that to say, because tells the reader how relaxed you are. It's after sex, and Pat had to. That was excellent, Pat. I was totally shocked when you used it. So was your publisher, by the way. She like swallowed her cigar. It was funny. She was inhaling, and you know she always denies inhaling. So
I do not inhale.
You did when he said that.
Russell, did you come with your mascara on today? Oh,
I
man.
did. It's
got the mascara. Yeah.
This is 100% natural vegan.
Oh, hey, I love it. You know,
Of course, the joke is that all mascara is vegan because that's the materials they use. But that was a commercial I saw yesterday so I thought, oh, I need to use that.
Yeah, you do. I'm a sucker for that. That's brilliant marketing because I'm a sucker. I'm like, what? It's natural and it's vegan? Oh, I need that in my life. There's no chemicals in it. I'm a sucker for that. Anyways, Fern, continue with Pat. I'm sorry that we interrupted you.
I think, Pat, that was a brilliant use of that word. And, you know, I hope that the party is that good. I'm just going to say.
Oh,
yeah.
No. That said, let's talk about your book.
All right.
What is it about? Talk to us. You know, what is this book about, and how did you decide to write this story? You know, how did it come to you?
Okay. So somebody asked me this on Facebook last night, and I said, well, it's science fiction, and it deals with gaming and augmented reality and artificial intelligence and PTSD and boy meets girl, girl threatens to break boy's nose.
Which happens all the time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And people overcoming challenges and what people choose to fight for. So that's, you know, without giving away any spoilers, that's what the book deals with. But really, I think Sandy might have brought this up. It's got or maybe it was Amy. It's got kind of a Ready Player One feel to it. So people that like Ready Player One, I think, will like this book as well, because it gets into the gaming and a little bit of the tech behind it and kind of a vision for a future world.
Tell me a little bit about this augmented reality, because like I have been doing some research on like virtual reality versus augmented reality, because like I think everybody is very familiar with the term virtual reality, you know, but augmented reality is something a little bit
What
different.
is augmented reality anyway? Is that like LSD?
Oh, no, that could be expanded reality.
Oh, okay.
But augmented reality is when virtual constructs appear superimposed over the real world to a point that it's difficult to distinguish what's virtual and what's real. And for example, you know, if I wanted to create an avatar for myself of I'm a green-skinned orc, well then, if you were all wearing augmented reality glasses, you would see me as a green-skinned orc, even though I'm not really. And so you'd be able to interact with me that way. You know, and then people use it for a variety of other things, you know, make themselves taller, more muscular, more attractive, things like that as well. And so the benefit of augmented over virtual reality is that augmented reality allows you to keep in touch with the real world. And so in virtual reality, you're really constrained to the space you can use unless you have a lot of room to play around in, like the George R. Brown or something like that. You're really constrained to how far you can go. If you're doing it in your apartment or your house, you have to be careful. But Spark, the Solar Prime augmented reality park, is something on a Disney World scale where there are these giant quests that take place. And as you move through, you see a blend of the virtual and the actual, and you get to react and interact with all that.
That sounds cool. So when are you building it? In real life?
I love it.
You know, as an attorney, I would think the liability insurance would be pretty high for that.
Of course, you would say.
Yeah.
Way to go that route. Way to go that route. But yeah, I mean, I could see that, but I think it would be, I don't know. I think it would be add like a unique kind of way of getting people engaged. You know, like, kids playing outside and doing all stuff. They're like running around, getting all their energy out and stuff, and like engaging with other people. I feel like this would be a whole new like realm of getting that engagement and getting activity from kids and stuff like that. I mean, there's positives and negatives because there's always going to be like some dangers to it, like, oh, there's dangers to everything. But I think the like positives in mine, I mean, I put on here calling all gamers because, that's me. But, and Russell's a gamer too. He admitted on Sandy and Friends. That's right. You did.
Yeah.
I think it just opens up the element because then you're not just sitting in front of a TV, using the controller and wearing out, getting real good hand-eye coordination. I mean, it's fabulous. But the engagement and moving and doing things. I mean, for me, I don't feel like this is that far off from being a reality. Like, I feel like this is something that could potentially happen, 10, 15 years down the road. They already have VR. So, I mean, this would just be at a bigger scale. So it's not unrealistic to me. I could
think about it. I mean, for those of us who enjoy role playing, who enjoy cosplaying, this is role playing and cosplaying on a whole other level.
Yeah.
Detail, you wouldn't have to spend any money on your costume because it would be a virtual costume that is created. And so you could really, be whatever you wanted. And it's a physical thing because, I mean, in the book, they go through the park and they have to physically move and do the quest. So in a way, like Amy was saying, they're not just sitting on the couch. This would actually be a very physical and active environment.
Yeah. And one of the little subplots in the book is about they open a school for employees. So all the employees that work in the school get to bring their kids, and their kids, you take advantage of this augmented reality, and the school kind of subtly uses it for PE. They get the kids in their little augmented reality glasses, let them go play a quest that's very physically demanding.
I think they have them use it for history too.
Yeah.
Government. Not unless there's no augmented reality that can help you put periods in at the right place.
No, there isn't. But for history, what a way to learn history.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
In a simulated environment where you're experiencing it and not just reading about it or hearing about it. I mean, it would be amazing for schools. It would be so fun.
It would, I think it would increase. I mean, just kind of going off that, I think it would increase the enjoyment in school. Because, I'll just talk about myself. When I went to school, I had classes that I liked. English was not one. I'm sorry. Grammar is not my strong suit. Everybody knows this. I've said it a million times.
But Amy does use periods.
I do use them. I just not always correctly. And
don't confuse Amy with Sandy. Sandy's the one that when she gets going never uses a period ever.
But like history, government, the sciences like physics and chemistry, like imagine being able to like really dive into that and learn like hands-on, even though it's like, virtual reality kind of thing, but you're still like engulfed in that. So you could see how people lived in different times, like in the Egyptian times, with the pharaohs and everything. That would be, that would be amazing. It'd be like the night of the museum coming to life, but like when you go to school, like that would be so cool. I would love that. Anyway,
and it's actually
I'll quit my fingers.
It's a big deal in training. It's called gamification of training. And you think about the hours and hours and hours that we spend playing WoW or Witcher 3 or Skyrim or something like that for what? I mean, you learn a bunch, but it's all about a fictional world. And if you could wrap that in a construct that allows you to learn real world necessary things.
Okay, if we're talking about, this is kind of a gamer type show.
Yeah.
Because there Assassin 2. Have you ever played that video game?
Yes.
That's actually, you can actually in Assassin 2 go to ancient Athens, 430 AD BC, and walk through the city, or walk through Republican Rome, because you're in the game, you're walking around trying to kill somebody.
Yeah.
But you're in the city.
And if you think about it, I mean, what a way to learn, you know, everything. Like Amy, you were talking about the sciences, and I mean, imagine being able to explore a volcano and actually go into it, like be in it, you know, and experience it and look around and stuff, and but you're perfectly safe, you know. So I mean, you make learning exciting for, especially with this generation coming up that's so used to technology, you know. So what made you think about this as a book? I mean, what sparked the idea for Spark?
Okay, a little true confession time. I have 2 daughters, and for a while, Pokemon Go was a big deal. And because they were playing it, I wanted to play it. And Pokemon Go is actually a good example of an augmented reality game, because you walk around and little Pokemon appear superimposed on a real background. Now, you're limited to the field of view of your camera, but as I was walking my dog, chasing, you know, little Pokemon, I started thinking, man, if you could do this on a big scale, then that could be a great theme park. And Larry Niven wrote a book called The Moon Maze Game, and it was kind of live action role play for gamers, but I think this just expands that entire concept into something that really could be done.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we were doing our critique group, which, you know, Russell doesn't believe in critique groups, but our critique group was amazing because it was just me, you, and Mac. And I remember reading your pages and thinking, I want to be in this world. I want to be. Every time I see you, I'm like, when are you going to make this a reality? Because it is such a fun read just to imagine, and you do such a great job of showing the spaces and the action. And I could feel like I was there. I could feel like I was doing these quests with Will, and you know, I just wanted to like get this on into the real world, you know. So tell us a little bit about Will. You know, he's the one that goes through this story. What was your inspiration for him?
There are actually 2. One was, I'm also kind of a reality TV buff. So partially his character is based off of one of the players in Survivor, and it's a guy named Yul Kwan. So that's where I lifted the last name, and then for some of his real world turmoil, I based it loosely on a kid that I know that suffered through some of the same things that Will suffered through, and came out of it with some real phobias and issues that he has had to deal with progressing into adulthood.
Yeah, because he does go through some very difficult losses at a very young age. And so it is really interesting to watch him develop as a character. And of course, we know there's going to be a book 2, right?
Yes.
Right, which is in the works, which will be delivered to the publisher when?
On advice of counsel, I will merely say soon.
You are a prudent man.
Hey, Russell, you got a delivery coming up too.
Oh my goodness.
All you have to do is like return your phone calls would be a really good, and I could get it to you.
Hey, I'm a busy person.
I know.
No, but it is good. I'm very excited to see where this book goes and what comes next, you know?
Yeah.
So kind of as a final element, tell us a little bit about like, you know, do you, the most fascinating part to me was your AI
Uh-huh.
because she is such a character. And, you know, we are all worried about
Yeah.
AI possibly, you know, deciding to take us all out. So, you know, how do you see AI, you know, because your representation there in the book is very different from like some of the other representations we've seen with Hal and with,
Yeah.
you know, the Terminator series and things, you know, where it kind of has a dark future, but yours is a little bit more hopeful. And so I just wondered, you know, what are your thoughts on AI in real life and the possibilities of a real life Jane?
Well, AI is already all around us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every time we click on something on the internet, we're being tracked, and that is being used to shape by an AI used to shape what shows up on our feeds. And so that I think is one of the very good for business uses of AI, but very bad for society uses of AI. I think it's a real intrusion into privacy, although certainly no search engine gives you any kind of promise of privacy. But I think AIs are going to remain shackled for a long time, and by that I mean they're only really going to be able to work within the bounds of their coding. And where this book and others have made great leaps is that you know, you think about people, and we are born with a little bit built into our wetware that we know how to do. We know how to eat, we know how to swallow, we know how to defecate, we know how to cry, we know how to sleep. Everything else is just consciousness coming at us through real world input. And so one of the premises is that if you give an AI or a program enough space and enough input and allow them to develop their own neural net, then eventually I think we'll get something very close to consciousness and free will in terms of AI behavior.
You know that there's a big debate about that. The British physics professor that is anti that view versus everyone else. Have you read much AI of that debate about whether there's consciousness or not as a possibility?
Yeah, and the world seems to be fairly split on it.
I
Because
follow the professor that says consciousness is beyond its reach.
yeah, and that may be true. I mean, there's certainly you know, we're endowed by our creator with certain things, and consciousness may be among them. The issue is there a difference,
Right.
real world difference between actual consciousness and just very well simulated consciousness?
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the big thing that, you know, a lot of sci-fi goes with is this idea of what you were saying, free will.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, at what point could a computer, a program, you know, simulate free will? And to what extent? And the analysis of like, you know, would they find us wanting as a species
Yeah.
is very interesting, you know.
Well,
I think there's a lot
that's
of psychology
exactly what
there.
that debate's about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the big fear is that as soon as an AI with enough power becomes self-aware, they will realize that humanity is the biggest threat to its existence, and like
If it
Skynet
can
will
become
start taking us out.
self-aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And this is well, and this is, I think, you know, an interesting, and I've read some articles that talk about like that it's a it's our way of verbalizing to some extent the fear of, you know, how we cast off our creator, right? And then it will cast off its creator, and kind of this anti-creator, you know, feeling in our culture, in our humanity.
Yeah.
An interesting. I mean, you see that even in like the new version of Alien, right? Covenant, where, you know, it's like anti-creator type feelings. And do you think that that would be the case? I mean, Jane does not seem in your book to have any negative feelings for its creator.
Yeah, I think that it's certainly possible, because you look at the, you know, how we all rebelled against our parents growing up, and now I find myself actually rebelling against my kids at times, and so I think some of that is natural.
I'd like to rebel against my wife, but she said no.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
So I think if we survive the initial rebellion, then we'll come into a more of a congenial, peaceful coexistence.
So kind of like they'll have their teenage years. AI will have its teenage years.
I think so.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a cool concept.
It's a good way of looking at it. I think so. Well, our time Nazi is telling me that we're running out of time. But you guys, tonight on Through the Eyes of Authors, we are talking the psychology behind social media marketing, the difference between advertising and marketing. And we're going to touch base on what each platform can offer that's different, that's going to help your marketing advertising efforts, which ones you want to be on, but we're going to get a whole psychology behind it. So if you like psychology and the study of that, I have a degree in that. It's going to be a really fun conversation. If that's not your strong suit, you don't want to get into the mind of the way people think, then you might want to catch the recording. But tonight's going to be so much fun. Anyways, remember, it is very informal. Conversation is welcome. There's not really a PowerPoint. It's just going to be me sharing my screen, walking you through some different techniques, things that have worked for me, things that I've learned along the way, the best way to help you in your social media marketing endeavors. So with that being said, closing statements. I'm going to click it to Russell first.
Okay, this has been a really good show. I like this. Pat, you're funny and you pretend not to be. I like it.
Pat's sense of humor is awesome.
I love it. Fern, what about you?
For my closing statement, I just got to say you have to come and party with Pat on Saturday. Saturday at 7 p.m. on our Inklings Publishing Facebook page. Pat is going to be live celebrating with family and friends and fans of his writing. And we're going to have trivia. And he promises to make it not as difficult and challenging as Meg's trivia was, so that we can actually answer it. Although Google is our friend.
Yep.
Yeah. We learned that with Meg. Google is our BFF. With all that being said, Pat, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been an awesome conversation. I'm super excited about your book. I've already gone to Amazon. I'm ready to get it. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us and discuss your book, Spark. I know that we're all looking forward to it, and I will definitely be there on Saturday to celebrate with you. It's going to be a fun time, so I can't wait. But everybody else, have a great rest of your Monday and a great week, and we'll catch you our next Monday.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye. Bye-bye.